This will definitely get people to click on it.
Yeah, again, you don't have to post it now, but we're going through that.
No, we're gonna post it now.
Okay. Wait, I always say you're one message away from the opportunity you never think you would have had. Let's do it vertically for the LinkedIn.
Oh yeah. Look at this guy optimized.
That's okay. If people unfollow you from your newsletter, from your videos, from everything, that's okay. Those are not your true fans.
Exactly.
Right? You just have to be able to post a lot of content until you finally find something that sticks. You double down on it, and that's what you become known for.
Welcome to another episode of the Transform Podcast. Here with Jose Osorio. He's the CEO of Consistent 360 and an expert in personal branding. We're gonna be having a conversation today on exactly how to do that, how to build a solid and efficient personal brand. I wanted to remind you guys that if you're looking for a place where you could find information on how to transform your health, wealth, and relationships, you've come to the right place. Please subscribe. Jose,
Great.
Brother, again, thank you so much for being here, man. Tell me a little bit about you for those people out there that don't know you.
Of course. Well, listen, a little bit more about me. I was born in Medellin, Colombia, and I moved to the United States when I was 5, and I've been here rolling in this country for 15 years now, and it's been a great experience. I mean, my parents, they started from the bottom, and now we live in this place here in Miramar, and it's absolutely great, and I've really learned so much about this culture here, and learned the language, met so many great people, and now I'm in college at FIU.
Yeah.
About to graduate in December, and just as you said before, going on this journey of just talking about personal branding and getting students in the right shape, in the right mindset, and that's really what I love to do. So
perfect.
Yeah, it's just a little bit.
Tell me what brought you into the world of social media. As you mentioned, you're still going to college, but I think if I remember well, when I met you online, you had something in the neighborhood of maybe 2,000 followers or maybe even under. I think you're near 6,000 right now.
Yes.
And that's been what, a couple months? So tell me how you've done that, like what brought you online and how have you become so good at it?
Yeah, good question. Before I ever did the personal branding and anything that involved social media, for 2 years, 3 years and a half, what I used to do was that I worked in college admissions. So I helped students with the college application process, either internationally or domestically. And I started that in my senior year of high school. And primarily the reason why I did that was because I applied early to FIU. I mean, I applied in August and I got admitted in September. So once I started rolling into my senior year of high school, everyone was like, oh, you're already accepted, you have a scholarship, how can you help me? What did you do? So I kind of saw the opportunity there, and the light bulb just struck out to really start a business, and I started going in fully on it, and it started being something tangible because people, one person got admitted, then they're like, oh, hey, Jose helped them, and that kind of started the domino effect. And in my senior year, I probably helped out 20, 25 students, and I continued the service into high school, into college, and I even started working for the International Admissions Office. So kind of that was my whole thing. And I did that for around a year and a half. I have 2-3 students who came from Mexico, Colombia, another one that got a $50,000 scholarship in New Jersey, for example, playing baseball. So I did help a lot of students, but it got to a point of this January of 2024 that it was just like I was completely burnt out from doing it.
Oh, for real, man.
Because again, when it comes down to college admissions, it's not only helping the student get scholarships, but you're also helping them, okay, apply to this college, then apply to the other one, but then also you need your transcripts transferred, but then you also, apart you need from transcripts, you need your I-20, and then the SAT and the ACT, and it becomes a whole thing where you give so much to the student, and in return, I still have school, I have a couple of jobs, I have the business, I have social media, so it became too much. So I remember vividly, it was the first week of January of this year, and I was like, man, why can't I just focus on one thing specifically that I'm good at? And I remembered looking at kind of my analytics in all of the social medias, I was like, wow, LinkedIn is doing pretty good, and I wonder why. And I was like, I'm just gonna give LinkedIn a try for a couple of weeks and see how it goes. And I started seeing what the biggest creators were doing, like Laura Costa and Justin Walsh. Those are some of the big names, Jasmine Alik. And I was like, okay, I like what they're doing. They're doing video posts, carousels, and I'm gonna give it a try. And I started doing that. And I will post one video on LinkedIn and it'll get 5,000 views, and then I'll post the same video on Instagram and I'll get 300 views.
Yeah.
I was like, what's going on here? So I bought the courses, I started reading the books on how to grow, and that's kind of how it all started. And that's kind of where I pivoted away from doing college admissions to just focusing on personal branding on LinkedIn, because the window of opportunity is there. Because really, LinkedIn is an underpriced attention platform where not a lot of people are on it there, but you still have so many B2B professionals compared to other platforms where I can look up the CEO of a company and compared to Instagram, and I'll more likely have a response on LinkedIn compared to Instagram. Things like that. That just give it a big difference of what the platform is. And I just started going in all it, taking the courses, and then eventually once I graduated from that stage of doing it myself, that's when I started teaching others.
Very interesting. So tell me about the process. So what are some of the things? Because again, we spoke about me meeting you earlier in the year, and you were at 2,000 followers, or how do you call it? Connections. And then all of a sudden you're nearing 6,000 in a handful of months. How can somebody replicate that if they wanted to do it? Of course, outside of working with you.
No, of course. Well, I would give it 3 main things. One is commenting. The other 2 is creating content that's relevant to the audience that you want to actually give and provide value for. And then the third thing was just to have your LinkedIn optimized.
Okay.
I think that's one of the biggest things in terms of comments, just showing up in other creators' posts every single day in your niche. Second thing with creating content that's relevant to the audience. So if I'm trying to target CEOs or founders making a podcast like this, it's going to target those people posting on LinkedIn. And then the third thing with just having your LinkedIn optimized, I would say, is just having a good banner image that has a call to action to your featured page, and having your experience that backs you up. That's kind of the short answer there.
Very interesting, man. Yeah. And how could somebody, let's say somebody, a business owner, somebody that just went to LinkedIn for the very first time and they're trying to find their niche on there, but how do you know what content will work for your niche?
It's a good question. What I would say is that it comes down to 2 things. One, you have to be a practitioner of your craft every single day. So the way that we were doing it here, that you told me you got way better with your videos, you set up, and now you know exactly how the camera is moving, is the same thing with social media. Gary Vee always talks about it. You have to post out content, and post out more and more and more. And eventually, after seeing the analytics behind it, that's when you're gonna know, okay, this piece of creative or this piece of content is performing better than the other ones. Specifically on LinkedIn, video is absolutely rolling right now. But then also the story with the picture is also rolling immensely. So it just really depends on, okay, what is the platform that I'm on? Going in, seeing the features behind it. And for LinkedIn, it's a lot of storytelling, a lot of education. So that's kind of the answer to that.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah, to the niche, because it's hard.
It is hard though.
It's hard in the beginning. And even to find the niche, right, that's even harder because you have to start testing out different pieces of content. So for example, if I want to do general business owners, okay, let's start with manufacturing business owners.
Okay.
Let's start then with, I don't know, tire companies.
So you're gonna go industry through industry.
And then eventually when you see which one picks up the most, that's when you're like, okay, I'm gonna go all in
on now. Okay. Guys, this is highly valuable because this is a great strategy. Do you consider this something that would help any business or any business owner out there or any professional that is promoting their business through social media? Would this help them decrease their CAC on there, like customer acquisition cost? Do you think social media could help you do that?
Absolutely. I think that social media, compared to other people, I think it's the greatest thing that has ever happened in terms of what media is, because it evened out the playing field for all. I can make one post today, right? And I can have 1,000 followers or 500 followers. And that piece of content can overperform the 1 million follower person that is an influencer. Why? Because what happens now is that what matters is how really good the content is. Again, same thing to the conversation. When we first started doing these videos and this content, it wasn't bad. But now you've improved it, and now you've gotten 13,000 views, right? So it just builds up over time. And that's the beautiful thing that business owners can take advantage of it. It's just TV, radio ads, maybe newspapers, that's all down the window. Social media is free. And that's the thing that people don't understand. It's just, if I can make a content that's relevant to the audience, that's entertaining, but also educational, right? That can be the difference between paying $10,000 on a billboard, right? But then making a social media organic post that's something about a business owner with their family, that's something that they enjoyed, for example, and that goes through the roof. It gets 500,000 views, and it brings them 3-4 potential clients because it now becomes more relevant and more reliable to them because it's familiar to them. It's funny. It's, you know, and that's just giving you examples. If you can go into the details of it, but it became free, and that's the best part about it, where anyone can go and get it.
For those of you geeks out there that like SEO, keyword, right? It's free, guys. Social media is free. It's an incredible tool that you could leverage to bring in new client, bring in awareness to what you do, your business, your mission, and it's absolutely free. And just like, if I understand you right, it's the massive reach it has, because it's not about how many followers you've had, how many, you know, subscribers you had, like how many platforms you're in. No. It's about the quality of the content.
Exactly.
Because it has that social networking effect where people just like it and their people like it, and all of a sudden millions of people could see a post that could go viral.
Yeah, I mean, one good example is, remember the cranberry guy on the
yeah.
For example, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what his story was, but all I know is that he was just a regular worker. He wasn't doing anything crazy, and he just started to just drink the cranberry juice on a skateboard, and that got him millions of views. That got him brand deals. He's a brand ambassador for the cranberry brand and things like that. And then eventually now he's doing gigs, or he's doing on social media. But that's the beautiful part about it, where we can, you know, maybe this goes viral, for example, right? And then this leads us to different avenues. But that's the thing, where it's just people see it, and it's the culture behind it. It's really interesting, and it's things that it keeps evolving and evolving, because trends come in and disappear and things like that. But that's one great example that, you know, one post can really change your life.
There's another one. I don't know if you heard about this one. It just happened not too long ago. A person doing a POV post, like point of view, saying, have you tried this mango candy or whatever? And they're opening like a candy bag of candy that looks like mango, and they're all sticky. And you know what? We'll try something new. We'll drop it here just so that people could see it as we see it. And that went crazy viral. It had like something like in the neighborhood of 20 million views.
Yeah.
It sold out the candy in the entire continental US. Like, let me repeat that again. That candy sold out in every store, in every state, in the whole continental United States. It probably made that company millions and tens of millions of dollars. On one post. And guess what? It was not even a marketing post. It was just a person showing their experience on how this candy looks like, and the fact that it's flavored like mango. It's wild. So going back to a point, that's absolutely the truth, and I appreciate you brought that up. I have a couple questions here for you that I wrote down.
Tell me.
So let's see where I even hit them.
By the way, guys, if you see us touching ourselves, it's the mosquitoes.
Oh, there's mosquitoes here. We're in South Florida. We will probably get eaten alive by mosquitoes or by an alligator, because we have a lake here close to us. Okay. Tell me about business. So you told me what led you to help the students, what led you to go to social media after being burned out. Why don't you tell me now about what does it take to serve these people that now have an awareness of you, and how do you switch from being a student to like a business owner, and all the skills you need to learn in order to do that and fulfill your promise to your clients? Tell me about that.
Good question. Well, throughout these past years, I've always focused on two main things that I know are needed to run a business and to be able to have that front end thing, which is marketing and sales.
Okay.
right? So I've had experience with both in companies that I did maybe customer service, I did a little bit of marketing, I did a little bit of sales, and that's kind of what got me the initial experience, right? But when it comes to the day-to-day, it's hard switching that hat of just being a student, going into class, listening to the lecture, doing your homework, right? To then being the entrepreneur, the business owner, where you say, hey, this is my responsibility now. People are giving me money and giving me value for the work that I'm doing. I have to really be able to take care of it. But I think that it's a good balance because, for example, I try to structure my weeks where I give a couple of days to my student days, my work, my homework, a couple days to my job, and a couple of days to my business. Of course, those priorities change between the summer semesters, between the spring semesters, or even when I graduate, correct? But I think once you put the hat on of just being a business owner, it's just constant self-development, self-learning. Because yes, as a student, I feel like you kind of plateau eventually where you get your classes and then that's it, you graduate, right? But as a business owner, you have to be constantly evolving, adapting, constantly just reading books, buying courses, going on YouTube and watching videos of the new trend that you have to be able to do this for the social media platform, etc. But that's where I feel that I've grown the most because I'm always constantly adapting. The networking, I mean, if I would have never posted and acted as a business owner and gone on LinkedIn and created things that I like, for example, I would have never met you, for example.
Yeah, very true.
I would have just had my student hat. I would have just been in my classes doing my homework and I would have never had this opportunity. So that's the beautiful thing about just putting my business hat on and just being, okay, this is my responsibility. I have to be able to get the work done and be an adult and actually do the things that I say. That's something I definitely pride on. And back to the point of personal branding, which is huge, I always talk about always being on your 3 adjectives or always promising your 3 adjectives. And for example, what I would say is just I want people to know me for 3 things. I want people to know me for being reliable, for being a professional, right? And then also for being resilient, right? And the reason why I say those 3 things is because resiliency, I want to be known for being a hard worker, right? For also, going through a lot of things and being able to get there, right? Being humble. And then professional, every time I walk into a room, I want to be a professional in the way that I speak, in the way that I talk, in the way that I dress, for example.
Yeah.
And then reliability, when I tell you something, I'm going to be able to do it, right? And those are just 3 things that I try to focus on in every action or any decision that I make in my life are these things fitting into the category. Right?
I like that. I like that. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
I need to think about my own 3.
Exactly. Yeah, that's one of the things that I do with my clients where I sit there and I'm like, okay, tell me, what are you known for right now? And what do you want to be in the future? Not tomorrow, but in 5 to 10 years. Because those same actions, those same habits are the things that you have to start developing now in order to be successful, right? And those are just the 3 things that I picked. They can constantly be evolving, correct? But those are the things that I want to be known for right now and act as.
I actually really like that, and I like the fact that you mentioned that you want to be seen or perceived as a hard worker, and I always stress this. Like a lot of people already know what I do for work. Like I'm a banker, and a lot of people out there in my audience already understand that. But part of doing that job is not only about me being personally a hard worker, but also seeing all the businesses that I work with and understanding the indiscriminate amount of work that it requires to make something successful.
Yes.
A lot of people believe that, opening a business is just going to some business and registering a business and getting a bank account.
That's just the initial part.
Man, that it's just the indiscriminate amount of work. So tell me about that. Tell me about maybe some of the hurdles, about some of the bumps in the road. How do you overcome those? Because you're pretty young and you're already doing the business thing and entrepreneurship. So something to be admired for. So tell me about the not so glamorous parts of entrepreneurship.
I love that. I'll tell you and I'll talk to the camera.
Yeah.
And the biggest challenge is time as a student. Again, there's days where I wake up and I have to go into a 5 to 6 hour shift in my regular job.
Yeah.
And then I have to go and watch a lecture and do a couple hours of homework. And it's 8, 9 p.m., right? And I have 2 hours to create content for the next video and maybe do a project that I'm doing for a client. You have to kind of sit down and think about that. And it's overwhelming. It can be, I talk to my parents all about this every single time that I'm like, hey, I'm anxious, I'm a little bit overwhelmed, I have a lot. But then it comes back to the point that it's just, there's seasons of life.
Yeah.
And that's just certainly the season that I'm in, where I have 3-4 different things going on, and I have to be able to execute on every single one of them. Because again, each and every one of them will position me to be somewhere in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
My degree, etc., my job, the skills that I get, my business, where I want to be in the future, correct? And I think that's one of the difficult things that I face every single day, is just being able to manage the time. I always give examples of the people that I admire the most. Ryan Serhant, he's a real estate luxury broker in New York, and he says that time is literally money, right? And you have to manage your minutes, right? And he says that we have 1,440 minutes every single day, right? Around 400 of those minutes are taken away just from sleeping, from eating, from regular things. But then you have 1,000 minutes a day to be able to do something special, right? If I just scroll on TikTok for 150 minutes a day, I just spent $150 that I could have been investing in doing something else different. So it's just always being able to hone in on my time. And every single time that I'm doing something, I have to be aware of, okay, how much time am I doing this? Am I taking too much time, I don't know, showering or in the bathroom or eating? You know, maybe I don't eat for 45 minutes, but I eat in 20. And what could I do with those 30 minutes that I'm left? Just little things like that. And I have to be able to learn how to maximize that.
Interesting concept too.
Yeah, that's the hardest part, but I think it helps me prepare for the future, because if in the future I'm looking at managing 2-3 different companies, managing my parents' social media, mine, my little brothers, etc., I need to learn how to be able to manage that stress, be able to manage that hard work, endless nights, and that's what entrepreneurship is about. And I absolutely love it. It's all a game.
a game, right? Mm-hmm. Constant evolving. Otherwise, how could you win the game, right? And the cool thing about calling it a game too is that don't you lose only if you give up. You always get another opportunity to continue playing, right?
That's a good point that Alex says. But no, if you look at it, entrepreneurship or business in general is a game. And same thing with how you consider yourself as a person, right? Because you're always unlocking the next level or the next achievement, and unlocking a new leveling up. You have to go, right? And it's just when we've played different games. I don't know, what game do you like, for example, that you played back in your day?
I'm playing with my boy now. Like, I have a son, little Alex, and we're playing Call of Duty now.
For example, Call of Duty, right? You have to unlock the first mission. And once you did that, then that's the second mission. Think about it like college. You first had to go to college, you unlock the first mission, and now you step into your career, and now it's the second mission of unlocking, okay, how am I going to grow in this career? And it doesn't stop. But then you have to also think about being appreciative of what you currently have, because some people don't have absolutely anything.
Oof.
So I always say that no matter how bad things are for me, I always got to think, okay, someone always has it worse than me. Someone could be wishing what I have for right now. And that always shifts my day. Whenever I'm doing something, I'm like, man, I could be somewhere else. Things could be different. I was like, okay, but there's the Jose in a different version that could be in Colombia, and he has absolutely no resources, right? But I'm here in Miami, I'm here in the United States, and I have a lot of things where I can pivot to.
Brother, that is wisdom way beyond your ears. So if you guys didn't catch that, he's talking about gratitude.
Yes.
And understanding that things could be a lot worse than they are today. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we tend to focus on all the stuff that's going wrong, or maybe all the little hoops along the way, and like this incredible expectations. Again, we're on the social media space, so what you see on there is like people balling with like Ferraris and like a jet life and all that stuff. It's, you have to take a minute to see your current situation, understand that everything you have is still a blessing. As a matter of fact, if we go back to like the first president in the U.S., right, when this country was founded, the first president of the U.S., if you compare the livelihood he had to the comforts that we have today,
a regular person,
regular person,
yeah,
we the standard of living that we have, it's incredible.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and I think the other day I heard a stat that something like 60% of the world population to this day in 2024 they do not or find it difficult to get access to drinkable water within 24 hours of needing it. So think about that, guys. Like, be incredibly grateful for the stuff that you have today, and that's a great lesson, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
thank you.
I really like that. So,
Yeah.
time management. What's something else that's pretty difficult when starting up a business?
Time management will be the first one, and then the second one, I know one because my dad faces this every single day. Just for context as well, my dad is a business owner, and I'm constantly learning from him. So what he does is that he creates trust funds, LLCs, kind of develops the whole structure of families that are moving from either South America or other different countries to the United States. So
Wow.
big, heavy finance and accounting person. So I'm always hearing him on calls and things like that, and he always talks to me and tells me, you need to learn how to delegate. And I'm like, 16, 17-year-old Jose, what's delegating, right? Because when we're young, and humans are naturally selfish, that's the hardest part. And one of the biggest things as a business owner is learning how to let go of things. And that's one of the biggest lessons that my father taught me, was that when he first was starting, he wanted to do everything. He wanted to do the taxes himself. He wanted to do the bookkeeping himself, the social media, the video editing. And he tells me the moment I started growing and finally went full in 100% on this project was when I learned how to delegate and give things to other and only focus on income generating activities. And that's when the business completely changed for him. So on my personal end, some of the things that I delegate, for example, would be administrative tasks with virtual assistants, just for emails and LinkedIn messaging sometimes, or scheduling. Those are the things that I do right now. But in the future, I know that once I'm going in full in on this project of what Consistent 360 is for, I know that I'm gonna have an accountant. I know that I'm gonna have a video editor. I know that there's gonna be some guy with a camera following me all day, vlogging.
That'll be pretty
things
cool.
like that. And I just want to be able to focus on sales, on selling, and then also just being a creative director, creating the content, being the face of what the brand is known for, right? But I think that's one of the most difficult things, where I haven't gotten to that level yet, but I know that I have it clear that it's gonna get there.
Okay, so yeah, and I think they both complement each other, because one of them is time management, and how could you better manage your time than leveraging other people, right? Leveraging their time, leveraging their resources, their expertise. So very complementary.
Because Alex, like for example, in your job, how many people do you need to know around your area in Miami, for example, that have a specific service or skill that you need to be able to use for when you're helping out a client?
Yeah, absolutely. Many. And that's the, I don't know if we could talk about networking today. We'll definitely, you brought me to that point. So yeah, we'll talk about networking, but that's what I do on a day-to-day basis. I'm not a banker. Like a banker, what does a banker do, right?
Yeah.
Like, give me your ID. Like, let me open an account for you. Here's the online banking. Go home. That's a banker, right? I like to be seen more as an advisor, a source of advice, guidance, and education for my clients. And sometimes that means connecting them with people that have expertise that's far superior than mine. So networking, right? Having a circle of professionals that you could leverage, you could delegate to. It's critical. It's highly important, and it creates a ripple effect of reciprocity with those people, and it also creates the impression in your client that you actually care about them, because you care about their outcomes, right? The best way you have to show somebody you work with that you care about them is that you care about their outcome. What's gonna happen to them, how they're gonna grow their business,
in it for them.
How they're gonna fix their issue, like that you follow up with them and you care, you show genuine interest on their improving their business or their operation. So tell me about networking. Well, you and I are a product of networking, especially online networking. So tell me about some of the opportunities that has opened for you. How do you leverage networking online and some of that?
I'll tell you one thing, specifically on LinkedIn, because it's the platform that I'm on the most.
Yeah.
I love leveraging networking on there because you're gonna be able to meet people that you'll never be able to see in real life.
For sure.
For example, I as a college student, I love using the example that we have. When I first started following you or vice versa, right? I probably would have never met you if it wasn't online. At FIU, when am I gonna have the opportunity to meet a banker like you?
You're 10 years younger than me.
Exactly. So I think it's beautiful to leverage LinkedIn because LinkedIn is the only professional platform in the world where you have a stack of just B2B people that are actually out there working. You have bankers, people in finance, lawyers, doctors, you have marketing, then you have that's just one side of things. Then you have the whole corporate companies. You have the CEOs, you have the executives, right? You have in the palm of your hands just a Rolodex of people that you can reach out to, connect, leave comments on, like them, send them messages, and that's just one more very powerful way. I always say you're one message away from the opportunity you never think you would have had. You're one message away.
Yeah, I like that. And
one message away.
It goes back to that concept of I think it's called 5 degrees of connection or something like that. Let me look it up. Let me look it up.
Go ahead.
Hold on.
But no, you're absolutely right. I think networking is beautiful. It's a way of just getting yourself known and more visibility. And on LinkedIn, it's great.
It's called 6 degrees of separation.
Oh, okay.
Meaning you are 6 contacts away from anybody in the world. And that I think that's better shown in social media. Because, like, as an example, this is the way that I could illustrate what you just shared in my own personal life. In the community, there's so many people that I know. And that's it, right? Maybe, let's call it, in South Florida, by now I know half the population, but let's call it, I really, really know, let's call it 100 people, right? But those 100 people maybe really, really know another 100 people. And so on and so on. So I've gotten the opportunity to meet in the past 2 years over, I don't know, I would say, without bragging, at least 1,000 people that I would have never met by doing networking online, that then become physical connections that you make, that then become business partners, that then become sources of referrals, that then become resources that you send your clients to. The opportunities are endless.
Yes.
And that has happened because at some point I understood that the ability to reach people, you know, how would it feel to stop somebody in the street and say, hey, what do you do? Like, like, would you like to help one of my clients?
Yeah, I know.
It's weird. It's awkward. It's like that cold
call,
unpersonal approach, right? But what I've seen, and this is what I think you meant in a way, is that on social media, by having those 6 degrees of connection with other people, you could all of a sudden get exposure to a CEO of a massive company. And guess what? Now you have a lot of information on them, where they work, how long they've worked there, like what's the background, education,
right?
Like there's stuff they do for fun because people post on there as well. Like you could go there and see that I love spending time with my kids. Like you could reach out to me and be like, Joe, like I also love
I love that.
Right? So it's an opportunity to approach someone, but not in a cold way, but instead understanding what they like and enjoy and the direction that they are going to, and you could add value by supplementing that vision they have. So that to me is the power of networking, especially online. I hope I explained that half a decent way, but that's what I think it does.
You're absolutely right. And for example, LinkedIn has features specifically for that. I don't know if you've seen, but you know how, for example, we're first degree connections because we connected directly.
Yeah.
But then there's a second degree and then the third degree connection. So people that we don't even have in common, but they're somehow connected to us, I can see that on your profile. Wow. So LinkedIn has the features for that, where I can go on Alex's profile, check out his second degree connections where they are somehow connected to me, but I don't know them.
See, I didn't even know that. So tell me more about that. Tell me, how could somebody go online to the LinkedIn today? Guess what? Let's screen record.
Do it.
Let's screen record. Get your phone out. Screen record and then we're gonna show people how to look at this today,
Okay.
actual value they could use.
Yeah.
Screen record, okay?
Okay. 3, 2. So 3, 2, 1, go. So I'm gonna go to your profile.
All right. So Jose's actually looking me up right now on social media. We're gonna put this on the side right here, maybe on top of me, because he's the expert. And then we're gonna show you guys how to find other degrees of connection that you have with people that maybe you don't even know, and you could leverage that
Okay, so
to do stuff.
you have 500 plus connections, Alexander Nota, right?
Yeah.
Go to connections, and then you see here first. Those are the people that are directly connected with me.
So those people, like the first, are like you guys are connected already,
Mm-hmm.
like your friends online.
Exactly. And
Second
then-
degree, what does second degree mean?
So second degree, it would typically be a person that's either connected to one of us, but one of them is missing the connection.
So what does that mean?
So
I'm
it's
completely
hard-
illiterate on that.
So again, let's backtrack. First is that we're both connected. All three of us know
Okay.
each other.
Perfect.
Second,
They're either connected to you or connected to me.
so it's only two people connected. That's why it's
Oh,
second.
I see, I
and
see.
then third, that means it's completely outside, where they're only connected to me, but they're not connected to you. Or they're only
Oh.
connected to one person, right? So it just eliminates 3 versus 3, 2 versus 1, and then 3 versus 1.
And how do you leverage this information?
Well, example, let's say Adolfo, Joel,
Yeah.
Heller Cohen. Right?
Shout out
He's
to you, my friend.
We don't know who you are, right? But he's a business owner at Gelatis, Universidad de Chile, right? This is a person that I could potentially reach out to and just be like, hey, I saw your third degree connection to Alex, right? I love your LinkedIn profile. Would love to connect with you for 15 minutes and chat about your business and the potential for your personal brand.
Wow.
Boom.
Let's do it. Let's send them the message. Let's use this as social proof of what could be
All
done.
right, so I'm gonna connect with him.
Yeah.
You know him, right?
I
You
think
think
so.
he is?
I think so. Yeah.
All right, so
Oh, okay.
Oh,
He won't
it's-
let you do it now. Okay.
it's
Perfect.
only on my computer.
Yeah. So this is pretty cool, guys.
Uh-huh.
Highly valuable. Thank you for
Of
showing that.
course.
Send me that video.
I
We're gonna
will.
put it right here. This
That
is
was cool. That was my
pretty-
first time doing that.
Yeah. See, we're testing new stuff
We're-
out.
Exactly.
Testing new stuff out. I
Live
had a
recording.
couple questions for you, dude, but this has been so fluid that I'd rather keep it that way.
No, of course.
So okay, so that concept was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
How do you leverage automation to help you with you? You know, the recurring topic today has been as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, it's access to time, access to being able to delegate to other people, meaning leverage. Like your time is highly valuable.
Mm-hmm.
You need more of it, or you need some other tools to help you do it. How do you manage automation? AI today, it's a big thing.
Good
Are you using some resources that you could share? Maybe you know how to use those and how to leverage that so that people out there could do better in this
Yes.
area of social media.
So I'll give you a two-part answer. Let's start off with the AI part.
Okay.
So when it comes down to LinkedIn, where I'm constantly on it, you can tell right away when a post is made by ChatGPT.
Oh, for
I don't
sure.
know if you've seen it. The stars, the enlightenment. I want to enlighten you with this
Yeah.
journey of personal branding and marketing capabilities, and it's just the words are very, very big.
Yeah.
Right. And I'll give you a stat. It was Alex Ramosi that says this, where you have to simplify your message. You have to simplify everything that you say. Why? Because in terms of America, apparently 50% of the whole country reads
Third grade.
before a third grade level. So you have to incorporate that into your writing. If I'm making these ChatGPT created posts, people are gonna tell right away, and it's just gonna be wordy, blocky, all the emojis, right? So one thing that I prime on and I take pride on is just all the posts that I create on LinkedIn, they're 100% created by me.
Amazing.
Nothing related with ChatGPT, right? Because one, it gives my voice for my brand a bigger outcome. It gives it more visibility. If you see the post that I'm creating, all the writing, the copywriting behind it is going to be very similar to the one that I created last year to the one that I'll create in 1 year. Because one, I want to make it simple, and the second day, I want it to be known as Jose. The same way
Yeah.
that I'm talking to you now is the same way that I'm going to be speaking online. So that's one of the best examples that I can tell you in terms of what ChatGPT does in that sector of LinkedIn. Who knows? Maybe in the future it's going to get better. But currently, right now, I think that in order to really have that voice for your personal brand, create it your own, right? Because the same way that I speak to you now is the same way that I'm gonna speak to you in my posts.
And I couldn't agree more with you. Like, I've tried those tools in the past, and I still use them today for developing titles and maybe the hooks and stuff like that to get like the brainstorming going, but it doesn't speak you.
Yeah, there you go. There
It doesn't speak you, and it's so weird. It's hard to explain. You know what we should do today?
What?
You want to do it now?
Tell me.
Let's. Do you mind? We screen record you creating a message, and we'll post it on my account if you want to. Maybe we'll take a photo. We'll draft your message using your style, and then we'll do another one on ChatGPT and show the differences. And then maybe by the time we post this, we show the engagement too on the metrics.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, let's do this thing.
All right.
Let's do this thing. And the reason why I'm doing this, guys, is because the promise of the podcast is to do exactly this: bring you actionable advice you could put into practice today to help you transform your life. In this case, will be to help you transform social media, right? So let's get it done. Let's do it fairly quick, fairly simple. Let's take a photo.
Let's do it vertically for the LinkedIn.
Oh yeah. Look at this guy, optimized.
Awesome.
Let's screen record here, and let's get this party started. All right, so Jose, my LinkedIn is yours, brother.
Okay.
So create a post. We're showing what you would use, maybe the style you would use. Be creative as you want. You're showing people how you would lay out a post today without no previous knowledge. We're gonna do it in 30 seconds to show and demystify the fact that social media is hard, or you have to be like overly complicated. No, that's all, misconceptions and not real. We're gonna show you now. Create a post with that photo.
So let's start off with the hook, right? One of the biggest things on social media right now is that there's so much content out there, and it could be LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, that one of the things that people don't hone in on is that hook, right? As soon as there's a post, I'm gonna be able to capture that attention in 2 to 3 seconds. It can be on a LinkedIn post that's written or a video, right? So what could be one of the strongest hooks that we can put out there? It can be, let's say, networking is the key to business, right? Because there's a lot of things that can be key in business. It can be social media marketing, but then we can even make it more polarizing where people read it and they're like, what? What is this guy saying? I thought sales was the number one. So we can say networking is the number one key in business.
Do it. Let's do it. So, we're doing a live post right here. This is gonna go on my account. You could go watch it.
By the way, I usually take probably like a good 30, 45 minutes to write this, but
we're gonna do it here live. It doesn't matter. This is
number one.
A good, how do you call it? Gosh, I forgot the word now. A good case study. Okay.
Right. So networking is the number one key in business, right? There's a lot of keys in businesses, so a lot of people can read this and be like, what is this guy saying, right?
Do you use a second hook?
Yes, so pretty much for those that use LinkedIn out there, on the mobile version, what happens is that you get one line and then the second hook. And then the second hook is another idea just to lead them in, right? So what's one thing in business that you think is not as important? Right? Because now we give them something that we think, but then we take them an opinion away, right? So networking is the number one key in business. You can say not sales or marketing or finance or accounting.
Do it. I like it. Yeah, not sales.
All right.
That's gonna be polarizing for sure.
Exactly.
I actually made a post this week with a frame in the back saying, always be closing. There's stuff about sales, so this goes against my normal messaging. So this will definitely get people to click on it.
Yeah, again, you don't have to post it now, but we're going through that.
No, we're gonna post it now.
Okay. So networking is the number one key in business, not sales. So now that we got them hooked, now we can give them a general fact. What I like to follow and think of the LinkedIn post is as a poem, right? So when you look at a poem, it's visually appealing, it has the stanzas, right? It rhymes. Your post has to be the same thing. You have to speak and sing through this goddamn post, right?
Yeah.
Right? So not sales. Now we can kind of go back into say something a little bit more general. Yes, sales is important,
Yeah.
but networking could be stronger or will be bigger for the future. Something along those lines. I don't know. Help me out. Yes, sales is important. But a good network will get you farther. What do you think about that?
I would say, but the ability to network will get you.
I love that. Yeah. But the ability.
It's about skills, guys. So
Okay. Will get you.
you're
further.
watching this live, like
All right.
this would definitely add value. All right, perfect, man. That was awesome, dude. Like that was absolutely
Yeah.
awesome. You guys are gonna see that post now and interact with it. Go like that post and share it.
We're gonna like
Live
it.
example. Definitely a creative process and quite interesting to see how you could deal with the thought process of creating a simple post, right? We just did in a minute or so. Incredible. Why don't you in this podcast? I usually have a recurring topic, which is like what are some of the misconceptions on the field. So why don't you give me a couple of the misconceptions that people have when it comes to social media and maybe personal branding too.
Good question. The way I would go about this, and something that for me I'm trying to actively get better on, specifically because I have so many things going on, is actually being there in the dirt. And what do I mean by that? When you post, 5-6 people comment on it, make sure you go and comment back on them. Those are one of the things that a lot of people don't do, and it's just little things like that that slowly build up your reputation in a good or bad way. So I always try to take out 10-15 minutes out of my day twice or 3 times to be able to do the act of commenting, then getting back to people in the DMs and really starting conversations, because that's what's really going to build community, and that's going to be one of the biggest keys in social media moving forward, because since there's so many socials, so much attention and so many different platforms, that you have to be able to get those people that truly believe in you and truly believe in brand and take them somewhere else, because if not, then you're just going to be a generic person on social media. So that's one of the misconceptions, that you can just post and post and post, but if you don't have the ability to go in on the dirt and get to know the people, get to know your audience, then you won't really get far.
I like that, because I recently heard about the difference between having followers or subscribers and having raving fans.
Raving fans, yes.
Who said that though? I just can't remember anymore.
I think it's Russell Brunson.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I could be wrong, but it's some marketing guy.
And the way they explained it, I'm like, man, that makes so much sense, because even with a small audience, right? By the context of maybe the community, the local community here, like you and me have a lot of freaking followers, right?
Yes.
Because the average person on LinkedIn has what, 500 followers or so,
Yes.
statistically
From the
speaking.
connections.
And you having 6,000, I'm having 7,000 or whatever. You know, in the context of general population, that's a lot.
Yeah.
But when you go broader, that's nothing, right? The Gary V's of the world, millions of followers, or hundreds of thousands of followers and stuff like that. So even with a small audience, even in your local market, in whatever profession you're doing, what I think you're saying is that you could drive and create a community and raging fans by actually connecting with them.
Yeah,
you know, the whole purpose of connecting, it's interaction. It's exchange of value. And if somebody took, a second, even if it's a second of their day to go in there to think about you, to think about your post and the stuff you're trying to convey, and they dedicate that segment of the day to add to what you're trying to accomplish,
there we go.
Why wouldn't you return the favor? Why wouldn't you re-engage with them?
Exactly.
It's a way of thanking them. It's a way of building a more deeper and meaningful connection. It's a way to even further elaborate on your thought process. It's adding layers of not complexity. layers of flavor on top of your initial post, and a
There
great
you
way
go.
to communicate with people. So.
And even if it's 2 to 3 days after you make the post, I get it. We all have lives and we're busy, but just do it. It can be just giving a heads up or saying thank you, I really appreciate it, but just actively on it, because it kind of gives them another reason why to comment again.
Yeah.
And same thing with other people. The basis of LinkedIn, again, it's a social network to be able to connect with people. Comment on as many people's posts as you can. Because again, one thing with personal branding on LinkedIn and growing and engaging more is that your comment, think of it as another post.
True.
Every single time that you comment, all of the
People see it.
followers or connections see it. It can be either for good or bad, so make sure you're saying something good, right? But if everyone gets to see that comment, right, and you make 10, 15 comments on different creators throughout the day, then that means not only that you posted in the morning, but you also posted 16 times throughout the day based on your comments.
Yeah.
So those comments have to be quality, actually giving education, things like that. But the large majority of people aren't willing to make the sacrifices, and it's one of the reasons why some people stay stagnant and others grow. So
Great stuff. What is, on the second part, on the part of personal branding, what is like the biggest misconception you've seen out there? Like these beliefs that people have that when you actually go into the nitty and gritty of it, it's not true at all.
I'll give you two, because there's two. One on the actual branding side, and then the other one more on the social side, because I think that they're a little bit different. On the branding side, a lot of people have the misconception that logos and colors have a huge impact. And yes, when we see a logo that's recognizable, it helps, right? But when you're just beginning, right, having a logo with just your initials on it is not going to mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
And you can like the colors red and yellow and blue, but it's not going to mean anything. What's going to mean is who you are as a person. Again, brand is reputation.
Yeah.
I like to call it kind of like your 5 senses, right? It's the way that people see, feel, hear you every single time that they hear your name. So when I walk into a room, what do people know Jose Osorio as by?
Wow.
Right? And
Yeah,
that's the way
good.
I see it. There's other big marketers like, man, I forgot his name. I'll get back to you on that. Marty Neumeyer. He's they call him the grandfather of branding and things. And he says that a brand or branding is the gut feeling that someone feels when they see, feel, or think about your product or service. And your personal brand has to be the same thing. So if you constantly put a lot of effort in the beginning into the colors, into the logos, it's not going to mean much, because what matters is truly how you make others feel in your posts, in your customer service.
Very true.
Right? In your offer, in the way that you deliver the product or you pitch to them. So that's one of the biggest misconceptions.
So your brand is not your logo. Your brand is not your logo.
There you go. It's not your logo. Eventually, once you're big enough and you become recognizable, that's where the Nike or the Apple comes in, or for example, Mr. Beast, one of the biggest guys, he has the chocolate Feastables and it has Mr. Beast and the logo. That's when it matters. But in the beginning, when you don't have anything, it has no correlation.
What was the second one?
And then the second one with social media, I think that a lot of people are afraid to post in quantities, right? I think it should be a balance. I don't think that it should just be posted twice a week. I think you have to post a lot, but those posts have to be quality. And the only way that you're gonna be able to know that is by posting more. So in the beginning, how did you know that your podcast was gonna be good?
I had no clue. All I had was grit, like that, nothing else.
Exactly. So if Alex only posted 3 episodes, they're probably not gonna be as good because you don't have followers yet, right? But over time, you start seeing which clips, which way that you perform, which way that you intro the person is gonna perform better.
Yeah.
So I think you have to post a lot, and then eventually what you see is doing well. You check out the analytics on the platform. That's when you start giving it a little bit more quality.
Yeah.
Correct?
And you double down on what works.
There you go. You double down on what works. For me, I was saying on LinkedIn, I started doing first text-only posts or story and picture posts. But then eventually I started going a little bit more on video, and then a little bit more on video. And now that's probably mostly what I'm trying to do now, because that's what the algorithm is pushing and what my audience wants to see. Because what I see the analytics. How much time did they engage with, right? How many likes, how many comments. Those things matter, but it's only way I got there was just by posting every single day. And it can get annoying. And people may not follow you and unsubscribe, and that's okay. If people unfollow you from your newsletter, from your videos, from everything, that's okay. Those are not your true fans.
Exactly.
Right? You just have to be able to post a lot of content until you finally find something that sticks. You double down on it, and that's what you become known for.
That's
right.
That's really good, man. That's really, really good. So going back to the same thing we had spoken about at the beginning, it's hard to visualize the indiscriminate amount of work that it takes to make something successful.
Oh man.
So you really have to dedicate time to it. You have to work at it. You have to, iterate and iterate until you find something that actually clicks with your audience.
There you go.
And then you just do more of that, at scale.
At scale.
What does the future hold for you?
That's a very good question. Oh man.
I know I think this is a bad question for Jose because he has his whole future ahead of him. You're what now?
I'm 20.
He's 20 years old. Incredible. Business. What does the business future look like for you?
Yeah.
Now.
I'll give you the 10-year vision.
Okay, awesome.
I know that the next 2 to 3 years are going to be definitely a learning curve for me,
for
wherever I end up in terms of a job or I stay where I'm at in the company that I'm currently at. But I know that my 10 to 15-year version of myself and what I'm trying to work for today and tomorrow is to become the go-to strategist for CEOs, founders, and entrepreneurs in Miami and in South Florida, right? Because that's where I am, right? I'm right now in the beginning stages of working with students, working with corporate professionals that are just starting, right? But eventually, I want to move out of that, go into people that are more highly, right? Executives, people that already are established in any industry, in corporate, etc. And then apart from that, that would be for me, right? Just become the go-to brand strategist in personal branding and social media. Correct? But if I see long term, when people tell me, what do you truly want? I want to really be able to grow the family business that I have with my parents. So going back to what I told you, what my dad does, he works with a lot of people that directly invest in real estate. Correct? And my mom just became a realtor.
Wow.
And I'm running their social medias, right? So I kind of want to combine that and really build Consistent 360 into that holding company where not only am I becoming the go-to brand strategist, my dad becomes the go-to financial consultant, my mom becomes the go-to realtor, right? But joining forces in together and becoming the go-to company, right, to invest in South Florida, right? And that's kind of the brand
vision. 10-year plan.
That's the 15, 20-year vision plan.
All right, my friend.
Yes,
how do we find you?
Me? Well, you can find me with at Jose Osorio on literally every platform, on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and that's really what I'm about. Personal branding, LinkedIn. I'm slowly going to start getting a little bit more into social medias and just talk about more branding and social media creation side of things in general, but a lot of good things are coming out. I'm going to come out with a podcast as well. We're going to have Alex featured as well. So
let's do it.
About his story. The name of it is Your Brand, Your Story. And today, actually, I'm going to film the first episode.
Oh, I like it, bro.
Really similar to what you do. I want to provide value and show others, okay, how was your story? How did you become the person that you are today? But tell me about your brand. How are you building your brand? How are you getting out there and getting more visibility? Combines my both passions of learning about things, about new people, right? But then also learning, okay, what's your marketing strategy? What's your brand strategy? You have a podcast. Why do I just start a podcast? So those are the type of people that I'm looking forward to get on the podcast. So I'm really, really excited for that. I've done like 2 different ones, but I think this is the final podcast that I'm really going to focus on.
Awesome.
So good things are coming ahead in the future. And again, it's just same thing that Alex said, just stay focused, stay disciplined. Watch out for your habits every single day. Just know where your time is heading into, and just always remember that things are gonna be okay. You have it better than 100,000 people in this world, and just be able to make sure to just go follow your passion, your dream, and things will take care of itself if you're willing to put in the work.
Yes, absolutely yes. And remember, guys, that the most important and most difficult step is the first step. I challenge you to do it. Whatever your passion is today, whatever you want to do, Look, Jose just said that he's starting another podcast after doing a couple other ones, but this time it's gonna stick because guess what? He keeps at it. He stays consistent. You know, consistent 360.
Yeah.
He keeps at it. He keeps shopping. I
That's
challenge
why the
you.
name is that.
Yeah, I challenge you to do it. I challenge you to take a step that will get you closer to your dreams and your aspirations. And if you're looking to grow your brand and amplify your reach, this gentleman right here,
Thank you.
your brand, your story, follow him. Great connection to have, great insights on marketing and personal branding. And brother,
Thank you so
until
much,
this,
Alex.
until the next time. This was fun.
You're next for me.
All right, guys. See you next time.
Take care.
Please subscribe.
Bye-bye.
Cut.
Subscribe. Awesome.